You better be in the house when them street lights come on. Ain't that what your mama used to tell you? But I bet you when she told you to stay out the streets, she had no idea that the YouTube streets would take over the world. Uncle Juice, public figure Boogie, Baby Down So Raw, Detroit Gossip, and the most dangerous voice in Detroit, Dawgface TV.
Bitch, I talk more shit than Dawgface.
They running shit from coast to coast. Welcome to the Danger Zone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. My name is Dawgface Calderon. This is RealLyfe Unfiltered. I want to say that this is the debut episode of the collective. Officially, the band. We're back together, but we have a couple of announcements to make. One as a whole, and then Henny she always got something, right? I'm Dawgface Calderon. I'm the most dangerous voice. I'm the bad guy. I'm the local bad guy. Go ahead. Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
Tis I, the wonderful, y'all fave, ThatGirlHenny. Ding.
Did you say wonderful?
Yes. You know I am a ray of sunshine in your life.
I just asked that you say wonderful because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Never mind. I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't.
I know you got something to say. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
I don't. Hey, listen. Okay. I'm a professional.
You're gonna be nice tonight.
Nah, you didn't went one. You're going too far. Nah, you actually a little bit much now. In the upper right-hand quadrant, Underdogs in the building. What's the word with you, brother?
Man, I'm in the building, baby. Underdawg TV, man. Hey, with these beautiful group of people here, you know, about to get down to the bottom of it. Except for you, bro.
Yeah, cause I ain't trying to be beautiful. Pause. Nah, I like being.
I ain't trying to take it. Hey, we ain't trying to take the dog face off you.
No,
we ain't trying to take the dog face off you.
Beautify me. And listen. The grand poobah of this equation, the Ohio State Buckeye fan who's wearing a St. Louis hat, which is a cardinal sin in Buckeye land. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm wearing this for Cuffy.
See that? Here we go. Now you finna get a phone call. You finna get a phone. Big Meech finna call you. I don't know why you just said that shit. Big Meech, Demetrius finna call you. Hey, listen, ruler reporters in the building. What's the word with you, bro?
Oh man, you know, doing my thing, trying to, get like you.
Well, you don't want to be like me, brother. It's been a hard road. This shit is hard. Hey, listen, man. Welcome to RealLyfe Unfiltered. This is we're incorporating something. We have decided to come together and pool our resources, pool our talent, and to combine our forces to give the people nationwide a podcast, something they have never seen before. Is it a problem? The name of our podcast is going to be called Is It a Problem? That is the question, but it's also a declarative statement too. Because is it a problem? Them fighting word is, do we have a problem? Is it a problem? That means, bitch, what you want to do. Is that what that means or no? When you ask somebody, is it a problem? Them fighting words are no.
Oh, them definitely fighting words.
I think it is
fighting words.
Yeah, because is it a problem? It stings just like calling a motherfucker a bitch, don't it? Is it a problem? Even if it ain't a problem, if you ask me, is it a problem?
It's gonna be a problem.
It's gonna be a problem. So the name of our podcast is going to be called "Is It a Problem?" Podcast. Did they see the logo yet? They see the logo?
They didn't see the logo.
I posted it on Instagram. Well, I accepted your collab.
Go to our Instagram.
You just be invading my space all the time.
Okay, so listen, man, we need to get this out of the way first, right? People are like, wait, where can I find Henny? In the bowels of hell. I mean, on Instagram. Can you
You
give
would know because you right next door to me.
right? Can you give your Instagram name? Because people are asking, where can we find her on Instagram? And I'm tired. I'm tired of misdirecting them on purpose.
Oh, official ThatGirlHenny on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.
I didn't tell you to say all that shit.
But I did.
Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, get out of here with all that shit.
Oh, and Facebook.
I can't stand a multi-platform streaming content creating motherfucker, man.
But I didn't tell them TikTok and Kick. I just
Underdog, where can they find you at, my dear sir?
Man, you can find me on Instagram at Underdog TV _ podcast. You can find me on YouTube, Underdog TV podcast, and my Facebook also, Underdog TV podcast.
Ruler Gang, where can people find you, brother?
Everything is Ruler Report. Ruler _ report. TikTok, X or Twitter, whatever you call it, Instagram, Facebook, all that. Everything is Ruler _ report.
Hey, listen.
see. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
Yeah.
Everybody got multiple platforms, but I'm the only one that catch hell. I got you.
Yeah, I'm on Kick. I'm on Kick too.
Nah, that's one too many, Ruler Report. You keep on. That's one you went too far. All that shit. Hey, listen. Dionne Moore, because the Henny gang corrected me yesterday. Dionne Moore, I want to thank you for the contribution. Keep the money coming, because Papa needs brand new shoes and a sweatshirt.
Deontay, I wouldn't send him nothing because he didn't even know how to say your name.
I went to the 3rd grade and dropped out. What do you expect of me?
We're going to leave you alone.
Hey, listen. We're going to start this way. Hey, Wackesha. Hey, Wackesha. Hey, Wackesha. You know what this means, right? When I do this?
What you doing, bro? Playing with that kitty?
No.
No. He likes this. Dog, stop. Let's just stop.
That's a whole pause moment. What does this mean, Henny? Come on. Tell the audience.
So I have a nickname for him, and his name is 3-Finger Duty Shooter. And that comes because there was a young lady who was dealing with Wack, who came out and exposed that Wack likes 3 fingers in his bumhole. And he wants it in a come hither motion.
Y'all think I'm fucked up. That is what. And y'all accusing me of being fucked up. That is.
You asked me to explain something, okay?
And they saying that I am fucked up. Hey, listen, that is the shit I'm talking about now. That's beyond me. they saying that I'm fucked up, and I need to. Hey, listen. They saying that I'm fucked up. How can I be the one when Henny is the one who is introducing this folly to the equation? Welcome to Real Life Unfiltered. Y'all know what it is. The gang is back. We're back in the building. Hey, listen. Hey, Wack 100. Poetic Flacco. I want to officially put you human beings on notice. I want to officially put you human beings on notice. The shit y'all got going on, running up behind Big Meech, that shit ain't gonna work. Y'all maybe y'all might want to try something different because that shit is not going to work, and we are on y'all motherfucking asses. We have information that is pouring in directly from the sources. Since y'all always talk about lawyers this and lawyers that, and y'all got this shit from y'all legal and all the rest of that shit. Uh, Real Life Unfiltered, we have legals for real, right? One of the most, um, one of the biggest names in jurisprudence in the state of Michigan and beyond. His name is Todd Perkins. We on y'all ass. So all this documentation that y'all showing that is supposedly coming from the court system and coming from where the fuck ever, I'm warning you motherfuckers that if that shit ain't legit, y'all better get that shit right. Cause I'm going to bust y'all ass. Poetic Flacco. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah,
we see Instagram.
I want you to stick your fingers in my eyes. And I was like, but it's gonna be boo-boo coming out, you know? And he was like, that's what I want to see. And I was just like, what the, you know? It threw me back too. I was like, I want you to stick your fingers in my ass.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be professional. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so he was like, I want you to stick your fingers in my eyes. And I was like, but it's gonna be boo-boo coming out, you know? And he was like, that's what I want to see. And I was just like, what the, you know? It threw me back too. I was like, not you ready for that, right? So basically, he was just like, okay. He put the lube on my finger. And he was just like, he bent over. And he told me, he says, now stick one finger. So I put one finger. And then he was like, okay, now put two fingers. And I put two fingers. I thought that was it. But he was just like, okay, now slide one more finger. So now I'm like, yeah. So I'm like this, right? And he says, now turn your fingers around and make a come here motion.
Oh, he wants you to stroke that prostate. You know what? Wow.
Mm-mm. Don't ask me why, but because some of the shit that we do is so ridiculous, it doesn't even merit a response. Mama Zay Express. Was that Chinese food? Shout out to Mama Zay Express with the good Chinese food.
Thank you for dropping a gem on the channel, Mama Zay. I appreciate you supporting.
New member alert. Is that Tory Bonds, 1785? Shout out to Tory Bonds, 1875. Shout out. Hey, listen. Hey, Wack 100. Hey, Poetic Flacco. We on y'all ass. Everything that y'all do as it relates to Dionne, Cuffy, Gatling, and Big Meech, that shit better be above the board. Because we are watching. And we have legal, real legal on it. When y'all make a mistake, because we know y'all working in a concerted effort with Big Meech. We know that. No brainer. You better be on point with that shit, because right now, y'all not on point. And I guarantee you, as soon as we get through with this investigation that we doing into the shit that y'all trying to present, we gonna bust y'all motherfucking ass. That's a fact, Jack. ThatGirlHenny. So listen, so I don't even want, see, we have decided as a collective that listen, we're not even gonna give Wack too much attention. Because to give him too much of attention would suggest that we really give a fuck about the shit he doing, or it would suggest that he has something going on that deserves our attention. I personally, and I'm speaking for myself here, I know Wack is a disingenuous, disloyal, sneaky snake, bitch ass nigga. I don't believe nothing the bitch ass nigga say. Nothing. If he told me today was Tuesday If he told me tomorrow was going to be Thursday and today was Wednesday, I wouldn't believe it. That's how much I distrust that motherfucker. So that just is what it is. So we on your ass. And Flacco, since when you start taking direction and instruction from the likes of a Cash Jones? Since when you started running missions and running plays? I've heard that. Right? I've heard that some of you guys who are at the top of the totem pole have allowed Wackesha to commandeer our platforms to push his agenda. I hope you're getting paid. I hope you ain't just allowing him to use you to do his bidding for free. I hope you have received some benefit, and or I hope that he doesn't have anything on you that he's using to blackmail you, because none of this shit makes any sense whatsoever. So we're going to move on to something that is more pressing. Nolan Wales. The whole world is talking about it, not just.
Hold on, Doug. Hold on. No, stay right where you at. Nah, don't move yet. Cause see,
Okay.
then this is why I'm saying it. I still want the people who watching to know what it is that we are questioning as looking or appearing to be fraudulent in a misrepresentation of what is being presented to the people as federal documentation by Poetic Flacco. Because at this point, Flacco also has to come clean with paperwork to prove what he said about Cuffy is true. He said that, basically, things about 50 Cent. He put 50 Cent's name in the equation, and he presented something that I feel we haven't seen. We've looked at several things or whatever, what we've been looking at. But what I want to do is I want to actually just present to the people what I believe is BS that Flacco is presenting. And then we can go ahead and move on, because I feel like he needs to be called out or called to the table at this point as well, because he actually produced this stuff. You know what I mean? He got 97,000 views on the video showing the screenshot or something. So if you want me to cue it up or something real quick, I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I got it. All right, give me 1 second. That way they know exactly what we talking about.
Put my instructions to my mods and my stuff in here. Nosy. Nosy.
All right. And I had it up and I think I closed it. All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Mama Zay, thank you for dropping the gems on the channel. And
right, so in this
Mysterious,
video,
thank you.
All right, I got it. Let me share my screen real quick.
Gotcha.
Share screen. All right. So the titling of this video is Big Meech just exposed the federal informant 50 Cent works with. Even the title is misleading to me as well, but because the video ends up being about Cuffy instead of being about the girl. But anyway, in this video, Poetic Flacco presents these couple little screenshots we're gonna show. Now this one says, let me go to the next one where it actually says Cuffy's name. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna skip. So in this one, it says that Gatling, which is Cuffy Gatling, Dionne Gatling, Gatling affirms that Derek Bud Clemens and Raymond Rambo Jones shot and killed Theodis Howard. He presented that as well. I'm gonna just matter of fact, look, do you mind if I just play it and let him go ahead and do exactly what he was doing?
How about it?
When I went through it, this is what I found. First red flag I found on this paper making charges. Now, the first murder is of this guy called Theodis Howard, who was murdered April 5th, 2010. Now, Howard is dead in 10 months in prison. Wow, here's where it gets really bad for Cuffy. It gets worse, trust me. Cuffy, in his plea deal, confirmed that Derek Clemens and Raymond Jones shot it. Yo, yeah, I called the hit on Howard. I got him killed. But the shooters was Derek Clemens and Raymond Jones. The 27-year sentence alone should have told you guys that something nasty was going on. Bro, you don't murder a federal informant and get 27 years, but it gets worse. That's just the first excuse Big Meech just yet. We're going to get still rat on a rat. If you rat on a rat, that don't accuse your rat. And so we're going to get to Big Meech, and we're going to figure out did Big Meech tell or not. Y'all will be surprised by the result. After everything y'all been hearing online for the last year and a half. Cuffy would admit that he ordered the murder of Terrence Morgan as a preventative measure to stop him from cooperating with federal authorities. Now, Terrence Morgan was murdered on May 2nd, 2013. Gatling ordered Terrence Morgan murder at the Terrence Morgan. So Cuffy believed that Terrence Morgan was snitching on him, so he got Terrence Morgan killed and confessed to it. Again, this is where it goes all bad for Cuffy. Cuffy would also admit that a man named Andre Rush, who was also a distributor, who also stored drugs for Cuffy and operated as a hitman for Cuffy, Cuffy would claim that he paid Andre Rush to shoot and kill Terrence Morgan. And as bad as that is,
all right, that's enough right there. Let me stop sharing my screen. So what I'm saying is this. For one, you know, like I was saying, you know, to my peers behind the scenes, first and foremost, none of that we just seen, those screenshots, that's not federal documentation. That's not what federal documentation looks like. So either somebody actually created those summaries and screenshotted those to Puerto Flaco, or somebody actually got hold of some fake paperwork and gave it to Puerto Flaco. Because at this point, we haven't seen one credible piece of documentation being put out besides what we got directly from the family and what we found that says the things that Flaco just presented to the people. So I'm putting it out there saying that Flaco is misrepresenting the federal paperwork and stating that Cuffy Gatling actually cooperated and assisted federal prosecutors by putting that out there. I'm pretty sure everybody else agree with me that what we just looked at isn't anything familiar when it comes to federal documentation.
You just put that nicely. So listen. So what I'm saying is that I found where those quotes or paragraphs come from. They come from Cuffy's waiver of indictment and plea hearing, wherein which he was pleading guilty to the crimes therein. And like what happens when you allocute, when you plead guilty to a crime, you have to do something called allocute. And allocute means you have to acknowledge the elements of the crime and the terms and conditions of the plea in order for the judge or the magistrate, in order for them to accept your guilty plea or your plea of guilt. Those paragraphs come from a larger document wherein which the judge was reading off the different elements of the crime as they were presented, and then Cuffy was acknowledging doing his guilty plea, which you have to do. When you're pleading guilty to a crime, whatever that crime may be, before the judge will accept your plea, you have to allocate, you have to acknowledge the different elements of the crime. And the judge has to be convinced that you're doing so according to your own will and volition, without any undue stress or without any backdoor promises that are not a matter of record in the court. So when ruler reports say misrepresentation, I believe that he means misrepresentation because they have extracted those two paragraphs from a greater document and have tried to prop them up as if they are standalone elements that show that Cuffy cooperated. That's not true. And I challenge Poetic Flacco. I'm not even talking about Wack, because Wack is Wack. I don't even give a fuck about that. But when Flacco, I'm on your ass. Pause. Because since when have you decided to allow yourself to be led by the nose by Cash Jones, a motherfucker who you know lied about Zay Osama, a motherfucker who you know lied about T Grizzly, even his own clubhouse members like Ghost, when he mentioned Baby Shooter's name, he declared, hey, we ain't fucking with that nigga no more. That nigga's a bitch. He gave us fake documents and he made us look bad. On Clubhouse, Ghost came out and said, no, we ain't fucking with that. We ain't jacking that. Pause. Because that nigga gave us fake documents and made us look terrible. That's what I believe that Ruler Gang is alluding to. Hey, Deontay Moore, thanks for 5 more bucks. That's my man.
So basically, what Dawgface is trying to say is that there's a bigger story than what you're getting. They just picked the salacious parts out there and then try to paint a narrative making this look like it is the official document, but it's not. And we know it. And they know it too. But
Motown you know, that $4.99, that's gas money. Deontay, that $2, that 2 on pump 10. 2 on pump 10.
They going at it. So just for people who don't know about the way that the federal law works and federal plea procedures and stuff, in federal law it's a such thing called a factual basis, and I got it pulled up, so I'm gonna be reading from it. But it says a factual basis is showing that a crime actually occurred and that the defendant committed it. Under federal rule of criminal procedure 11B3, a federal judge must confirm this as evidence before accepting a guilty plea. So anybody who pleads in federal court, this is just a part of the normal procedure. A lot of people used to refer to it as admitting guilt. If you go back in the day and you look at some of the things that took place with some of the mafia guys that pled guilty in federal court, a lot of times they were actually, looked at or questioned, or sometimes accused of being one thing or another, rats or whatever, for admitting that the mafia actually exists. Because, I don't know if people remember this, but for a while, the mafia was like an illusion. Nobody in the mafia ever admitted that the La Cosa Nostra existed. This has been going on forever, though. So anybody who's ever pled guilty in federal court has went through the factual basis procedure.
In addition to that, on the screen, it is 18 USC 924C1A. And let me read from this. It says, it's a federal law that punishes anyone who uses, carries, possesses a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence or a drug trafficking crime. It adds strict mandatory minimum prison sentence that must be served consecutively to the sentence for the main crime. Right? And so here are the mandatory minimum sentences for crimes as such. So this is what we're looking at right here, right? So because Flacco mentioned, and we're just gonna touch this and jump off of it, but Flacco mentioned, well, I can't believe he only got 27 years and blah, blah, blah. He got 10 years for the drugs. He got 17 years for the discharging of the firearm during the felony. The mandatory minimum sentences are not as harsh as you would believe them to be, or as people are suggesting that they are. So for the mandatory minimum sentences, let's read. It is a mandatory 5 years for basic possession, use, or carrying of a standard firearm in the commission of another felony. It is a 7-year mandatory minimum sentence if a firearm is brandished, which means shown, waved in a threatening way. It is a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence if the firearm is discharged during a crime, right? So we're gonna come back to this and we're gonna jump all on top of this. But I just want people to know and understand that there's more to this story than meets the eye. And this story, it deserves more than just a cursory once over. That's not how we do that. That's not how we're gonna do that. We're gonna get to the meat and potatoes of this shit. We're gonna get some straightening around here. Poetic Flacco, I'm warning you, brother. Don't allow Three Fingers, aka Wackesha, to lead you down a perilous slope. Don't let him put you on the Swiss Alps when you know he gonna put you on a mountain covered with snow and he gonna start yelling so that the snow can avalanche on your motherfucking ass. Don't go for that, Flacco. Don't go for it. So that's our warning. You only gonna get one warning because I'm telling you, we all over this shit and we ain't gonna let it go. And when it comes to legal, we have legal. We have legal at the highest level on the state and federal level with Todd R. Perkins. So you have been warned. Deontay Moe, $2 more? God damn. That's my dog. That's my dog. Where the blunts at? Where the Henny at?
I want to say one thing before we move forward, because I know we're gonna move forward. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it ain't no need to spend a bunch of time on this. My thing is this: the statement I want to make is, at this point, it's on y'all to produce the paperwork because a screenshot isn't enough to condemn a man for snitching. And I'm not saying Cuffy didn't cooperate. I'm not saying he did, and I'm not saying he did or didn't because the people who saying that he did haven't produced paperwork. I need to see the whole paperwork. We need to see docket numbers and everything. Don't send me no screenshots or saying this and that. Show me that whole entire sheet. Show me the whole thing. And then if we see that he did bad or whatever, we don't have no problem with coming and saying, hey, the man did bad. It is what it is. People cooperate all the time. But I'm not going to condemn this man and put his life in jeopardy over a screenshot.
Mind you, he's in the federal prison system. And people have said, well, ask him where he is now. He's in the medical facility. He old. But that's not where he started. He started in a USP, Terre Haute, Indiana, where they check paperwork
Can you
on
hear
y'all.
Dawgface?
Huh?
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard.
Can y'all
I
hear
can
me?
hear
somebody
you.
say
Okay.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
we can hear you.
My mic went out. I couldn't hear nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing is, so he was on he came into a USP, his paperwork checked out. So unless y'all saying that the people who was reading his paperwork from joint to joint to joint are all wrong. But we're gonna get into that too, because there's a lot to uncover here, a lot to unearth here. And I feel like that there's somebody putting their finger on the real nigga scale, trying to tip public perception in their favor. That's what I'm accusing niggas of. And Poetic Flacco, don't let me find out that you carrying this bitch ass nigga water and you ain't get your ducks lined up, because since when have you received, first of all, I never known you to even read paperwork, but that's cool. You're adding a new chapter to what Flacco does. That's cool. But
You
I
call him a
want you to
water
know,
boy?
I am calling Flacco a water boy, because since when you ever gave Flacco, we know you don't give a fuck. We know that if a motherfucker assaults you, you're gonna call the police. You know what I'm saying? You ain't had no problem. So it is what it is. I'm not judging you for that. It's all good. But I'm saying, Flacco, come on now. Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop the playing. Get yourself together. Get yourself together. Get yourself together. Now, are we moving on to the more, because
You're looking big time.
are we moving on to more public, a more meaningful conversation at this point?
I'm ready when y'all are. I'm ready when y'all are.
That girl Henny.
I can't stand you.
Hey, listen, Nolan Wells, there's a lot of shit going on with Nolan Wells. And it's time for us to get to the bottom of it. Henny, She's been all over this from top to bottom. She's even, goddamn, Deontay. See, Deontay know that my car take 93. he know that it takes 93. So that $2 was gonna get me out here to the and gonna cut the fuck off. That's my man. Henny, what the fuck is going on?
A lot. There's been a lot that's been going on in the Nolan Wells case.
Yes.
There has been more interviews. There's been interviews that have been done by two of the friends that were out there on Horn Island. You had Race Batum Tatum out here interviewing them and champion for them, with them giving him surveillance footage from the home, alleged video of them towing the boat and all types of stuff. So that caused quite a bit of an uproar. You have the audio that came out that multiple people have translated to share with the public what they believe they're hearing in the background. There's been a lot of chatter about that. You have content creators that are now being hit with cease and desist orders to silence some of this chatter that's been going on, because there has been a lot of information floating around. Some of it has panned out to connect to the case. Others have not panned out to connect to the case, but it's a lot going on. And yeah, we still don't have a completed autopsy. We still don't have any answers, but Ben Crump is supposed to be giving an update on everything tomorrow.
Where
So
is
hopefully,
where's the throat?
we have not found out where that is. We don't know what's going on with the neck structure.
Hey, Henny, I have a request, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Can we start with Officer Tatum? Because what in the fuck is this bitch ass nigga doing? What the fuck this bitch ass Stephen Warren, Django Unchained, Samuel L. Jackson character playing ass nigga come from? Since when have this nigga has turned into a modern day Geraldo Rivera? Who stuck their finger in your ass? Prostate man? What the fuck is up with this Officer Tatum nigga? And why does he feel it is his sworn duty to remove any kind of speculation from these boys who were said to have been with Nolan or around Nolan or in accompaniment of Nolan? What the fuck is this Tatum nigga on?
Well, he claims that he stepped in to give a voice to the voiceless, so to speak. He, I guess, got into good graces with the family, and so the first person to interview with him was Warren. And then he interviewed Trayston. Now, Warren has never spoken out publicly before, but Trayston is the friend that spoke to ABC News. And this is the first time we're seeing him visually. So Tatum, anything, in my humblest of opinions, my observation of Tatum is that he's not for us. He's not for the Black community at all.
You think?
In this case, he's really trying to vindicate the boys of any wrongdoing.
Why?
You answer that.
Matter
of fact, Underdog, you answer that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think for real, it's the like he's on the payroll. He's a part of helping cover up, and that's just them, to me, stretching their arms out because they're starting to lose, let's say, a little bit of their grip regarding the cover up. So Officer Tatum, just somebody, just like they got so many voices fighting for this, he's just going to be the voice that try to combat it. That's what I think. I think he paid. He paid for it. And really, and he's so paid for it, he willing to pick up any content and throw it against Black people when it should be for Black people.
Well, see, he had the galls to come on social media and say that we owe him an apology because we're wrong and he's right, basically. He's addressed the fact that people are saying that he doesn't like black people, but when has he ever been on the side of the black community? And I'm bringing this up because even when it came down, I can't remember the woman's name off the top of my head, and it's no disrespect to her story, but if you remember, the woman who had the boiling pot of water on the stove and she went to go cut the water off and they shot her and killed her, he justified it.
And to me, that just shows how long he's been on the payroll. Like, they know that media plays has a great impact on a lot of the decisions that can be made, in their favor. So, when you get black people fighting against black people, then what they say about black people is believable, because now even black people ain't even tolerating it if they can paint that picture or put that narrative out there. And that's what Tatum doing. He just balancing out, the social media attack that they getting, the pressure that they getting from the social media to bring forth the truth regarding Nolan Wells' death. And he just one of the ones that's helping cover it up. So as we dig a shovel full of dirt to get to the truth, he is paid to put a shovel of dirt back over it. And that's just the battle that we in right now, trying to get to this truth regarding Nolan Wells.
So,
Henny, I'm sorry. I was just gonna ask you, can you kind of give us a little update on, like, just a refresher on the audio that went viral yesterday and still been being talked about today, as far as where it came from, what's actually being said that the audio is saying, and then your opinion about that.
Well, the audio, I received the audio file, and when I listened to it, I heard the hold music, but I heard like commotion behind the background of it. So I dropped the sound, but I wasn't quite clear on what I was hearing. To the best of my hearing, I heard his name said twice. I heard oh shit, oh my God, and Nolan twice. But I didn't really know what else was going on. So I posted it and it went out. And then people started trying to clear the audio up even more and get a clearer understanding of what was going on in that conversation in the background, because this was a phone call where allegedly Wyatt, who was one of Nolan's friends, when they went out, Warren told the story on Tatum that the day of the 4th of July, there was 3 boats that went out. There was the Palm Beach, the Triton, and the Tide Line. The Palm Beach and the Triton were Wyatt's boats, Wyatt's grandfather's boats, and the Tide Line belonged to their friend Bart. So Nolan rode the Tide Line out to Horn Island. On the way coming back, of course, we all know the story that the boat started taking on water. The bilge pump wasn't working. They needed to get the boat back to the mainland. And this is where they say that Nolan stayed behind. Well, Wyatt makes a phone call to SEA-Tow, which is SEA Tow, and they tow boats. So he's on the phone with them, and that's where this recording comes in at, because he's on the phone with the operator to get help with the boat. And so you hear all of this commotion going on in the background of everything. And like I said, I didn't clearly hear what was going on when I first heard it. And then as they started translating, people began to hear different things. So everyone has heard something. Everyone has heard something differently. The problem that everyone is having is no one is speaking. No one is coming forward, not the sheriff's department. Nobody has come forward, and the DA is saying they're not going to until they conclude with the grand jury, because this is now in front of an investigative grand jury.
So what the fuck is the FBI director Kash Patel talking about? Well, why are we hearing rumblings that he is on the verge of labeling this an accident?
Kash Patel is not directly involved in this case, but he is the head of the FBI. So that's where Kash Patel's name is coming up into this conversation. So the FBI did an interview, one of the agents, with News Nation, and it's leaning towards them ruling this an accident with the FBI. Now, they never came in and took lead of the investigation. They came in to assist the Jackson County Sheriff's Department with this case, and they were over the the digital investigation part of it, and they were also there because of the death threats that have been received. So,
so what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on the Triton. So he wasn't, and Warren says he was on the Tide line, and if I'm not mistaken, he said Wyatt was driving the Palm Beach. So I'm not sure who was driving the boats. Now, when the boats came back, the Palm Beach left the island first with 3 people in it. We don't know who was driving. We don't know who the other 2 passengers were, but that person took Wyatt's boat back to the mainland. We don't know what happened with that boat. We don't have the GPS to that boat. What we do have is the GPS to the Triton, and that's where everybody got that timeline from, where they left at this time, arrived at this time, and it came from the computer system of the Triton because the Marine Resources did an investigation. They're called MDMR, and they went to the home. They went and they put a flash drive, like a gigabyte drive, into the boat's computer, and that's how they were able to extract the GPS coordinates from that boat. But Nolan, as we know, wasn't on the Triton coming back.
I have a question. Why is the FBI holding a press conference of any? You haven't been there long enough in order to ascertain what the fuck is really going on. You don't have enough boots on the ground. You don't have enough people with their hands in the proverbial cookie jar in order for you to say anything. You haven't even been there nothing but about 3 or 4 days. What have you been able to?
Not true.
How long have they been there?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they came out and said they're leaning towards this accident.
Yes, according to the News Nation interview that this agent did.
Did they say what they said? They were in charge of electronics and getting logistics of the whole thing together. So that is the navigation from the boats. All boats have navigation.
Well, I don't know if they're over that, but I know that the MDMR went and got that information already. So assuming we're going to have to assume here, because we don't have anything that has been said from the Sheriff's Department, the DA. Nobody has said anything. Everybody is mum's the word in Mississippi on this case as to who's sharing what information with whom. The only thing that we do know is the last time that the family came out and spoke, no one has spoke to her about anything. And that's according to the mom.
So you're doing press conferences and you're giving updates. There's only one victim here. There's only one.
No, we're not getting press conferences and updates.
No, I'm saying
we're not getting that.
I didn't say that. I said that you're saying that none of the investigators are talking to the parents.
That's what the mom said the last time she spoke publicly. So I don't know what's happened in between then and now. And I guess we'll find that out tomorrow. But the last time she spoke out publicly, she said she hadn't spoken to them. They hadn't reached out to her.
So, no, but my point still stands. I'm still the same shit. There's only one group. There's only one situation where you have a victim here.
Right.
There's only one group of people who are victims in this situation, if we can call them victims. There's only one person, one group of people who have been, in my mind, truly negatively affected by this, and that's the parents and family and real friends. Because I've been getting a hell of a lot of slack for saying friends, right? Like, why you calling them friends? They're not friends. They killed them. Got for car. Hey, the term friend was a friend that as in general is what they called each other. No matter what happened.
Well, this is how they were introduced to us. That these are his friends. This was his friend circle. So that's how they were introduced to us.
So that's why we're using the term friend, because people are all on my back. Don't call them friends. Hey.
Well, let me also point this out. The mother has never accused any of them of doing anything to her son. Neither has the father. The only thing the parents have been asking is what happened to him. That's it.
You know, that's all she got to ask, because once that come out, you know, that's going to help. You know, it basically just helps her not look sporadic or emotional in what she's already assuming. because if she find out just what happened to him, that's going to automatically show who did it. You know what I mean? So it's real smart of her not to do that. To me, it's real smart of her not to do that because she don't want to have to recant. She want to put her foot in her mouth. You know what I mean? If they're able to cover it up.
But that's if she's even thinking that way too, because the family has not even leaned on that. When they were asked about if they felt that race played a part in it, they said they don't want to believe that race had, they don't feel that way. So they're not leaning on that.
Why do black people, why are we saddled? Why are black people saddled with the awesome responsibility of not calling it like we think it is? You don't see white people, if they have a suspicion, being chastised for uttering their motherfucking opinion. You don't see white people in this country doing that.
Do you know that that's how they feel, though? You're jumping on it, saying that this is how they should feel. This is also a mother who is biracial. Wait a minute.
No.
Let me finish what I'm saying. The mother is.
I said white in general. When it comes to matters where you have a racial component in it, where it's black versus white, white people, when white people are in the driver's seat of this, when they have been wronged or they theorize or speculate that something is wrong or something has been wrong, so a black person has done something, they don't hesitate. The media does not chastise them for putting out their theory or rushing to judgment. When it comes to matter of blackness, when black people are accusing or they have a belief or there's a suspicion, for people to say it, not the family, I'm saying black people in general, not just in this particular situation. When black people theorize or speculate something based on history, based on what the initial scope of the investigation, how it's looking, we can't add it up and say, hey, that shit stink. But white people can add up shit within the first 48 hours and cast some shit out there, and then the public will grab a hold to it and run with the story, and so will the media.
But isn't that what we've been doing?
But it's always going to be a double
standard. No, and we're being chastised for it. White people are never
always going to be a double standard
for it.
It's always going to be a double standard when it comes to race, though. I mean, like, and I get what you're saying, dog, right? But at the same time, when people immediately go to race, they actually are vilified as well for saying, oh, you guys are just making this about race. But at the end of the day, it's evident that race is playing a factor in this particular situation, because I highly doubt if somebody of the same skin tone as those would be getting the same treatment that this family, as well as this boy who actually ultimately lost his life, got. I mean, the I want to say that as lazy as they have been purposely with this investigation is definitely an indicator that race is.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
You just committed one of the sins that I just referenced. You just said that in your mind, based on what you have calculated, they have been purposefully lazy. So that means they're not rigorously investigating this case, trying to form a conclusion. And what you flat out said that, and there's a suspicion in your voice, and I think I'm concluding that you are trying to insinuate through suggestion that the reason why they're being lazy is because
but that's the way everybody is feeling about this, because we've all been saying this, that if this were the other way around,
are we wrong?
Those boys would have been locked up. But to bring it back to the original conversation where we were talking about the parents and their stance on racism, I do not know whether or not they feel that way, but either way, the public is looking at it, whether it be coming from the friends, whether it be coming from law enforcement. Either way it goes, the public has been calling out Mississippi's history, Mississippi's handling of all of this, the secrecy, the not coming and addressing. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't see what harm could be done to the case with the sheriff coming out and at least once a week, either giving the family an update so that they can update the public, or them coming publicly and saying, well, listen, this week we've interviewed 15 people, we're coming to a conclusion with this case. We've already received, the GPS for all boats involved in the situation, but this is still an active, ongoing investigation. Just saying that would quiet down the suspicions that people have. But the fact that the sheriff came out from the gate without any type of, and I get it, people were trying to explain it like, well, there was no gunshot wound, there was no stab wound. We get that, but even though you don't see those things, you can't come right out and say there was no signs of foul play, because you didn't even get a chance to really examine that body before you were saying that. So from there, it came off very dismissive to the community, when we know what Mississippi and other places in the South, how they handle things when it's us. That's race is here. Whether the parents acknowledge it or not, history has shown us that this is the pattern. And so as a people, we see it, we acknowledge it, and we're calling it out as a thing. Now, I'm not out here saying that those boys did something to him because it's racist. We don't know what the hell that part is. But this investigation, it's funky. And we see it, and we're calling it out. Period.
So watch this.
Let's go. Let's
turn it up a notch then.
That's why your soundboard ain't working.
Hey, watch this, right?
Watch this. Hold on.
Go ahead, dog.
We don't hear it.
We ain't hear nothing tonight.
You ain't hear that?
Well, the dog should be barking.
Ain't no sound bites tonight. There you go. Ruler just gave you your barks.
You did your thing, though, Henny. You definitely did your thing. Go ahead, dog. Go do your thing, man.
So listen. They are trying to say, there are segments of this society who are trying to say, to even arrive at the conclusion where you are injecting, or where people like you niggers, where you niggers.
Did you have to say the hard R?
Jesus.
Yeah. You niggers.
I'm offended.
Man.
It's Mississippi talk.
You niggers, at the very notion that race is a factor in this, at the very notion that you niggers are trying to incorporate the past. Get over it, niggers. This has nothing to do with our sordid, devilish, demonic, murderous, incestuous history. Look at the facts as they are and don't factor in history. If you black in this country and you find yourself in a company of some white boys from Mississippi, and something happened, if my son was Nolan Wales, right? I don't give a fuck what kind of job I got. I could be a lawyer, I could be a scientist, I could be a dentist. If I'm in Mississippi and my son out with 4, 5 crack, a boatload of crackers, a box of fucking crackers on the boat, and my son come up dead, my first thought process is, them hunkies did it, one, and I should have taught him and showed him and trained him and put him hip so that maybe he could have prevented this from happening to himself. I'm questioning myself as a parent. When my son died at the hands of these white people, I'm questioning what I didn't do, even though what I did or didn't do didn't result in his death. But I'm thinking, what could I have done? I know Nolan Wales' parents are saying to themselves, especially after they're hearing all the criticism, because they're hearing this shit. What could we have done differently? Because the way it looks like that we didn't properly prepare our son to even understand that something like this could have happened. And the reason why I'm doubling down on that, look at the nigga Javon. Why would they question me? Look at this, the Tristan nigga. Is Tristan black or is he white?
Tristan is mixed.
He a nigga. What he mixed with?
A black and white to my understanding. So
that's a nigga. He's a nigga. He's a nigger.
Okay.
He's a nigger.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Say nigger. Say nigger. Say
but
it.
you know what? But you know what,
say
though?
Nigger. Say nigger.
I don't think that they're trying to.
Hold on, Report. Let me hear y'all say nigger one at a time. Come on. Nigger. Rule report.
We definitely ain't about to be monetized after this.
Nigger.
It's about to be yellow. This is about to be yellow as hell.
Listen,
I'm glad I got a couple of
let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, because a gun is being jumped.
Yeah.
The parents have already spoken to how they have talked to him extensively about how to conduct himself and move through spaces, that they've educated him on his history. They've educated him on his view of the world, which was he did not see color. That was his whole thing. He wanted hold on. He wanted everybody included, right? And the parents said, we tried to explain to him that everybody is not going to see things the way you see them. So now, what do you do when you have taught your child these things? You put these things in them, but they still choose to see the world as they choose to see the world.
You just said that they raised him to believe that, to not see color.
No, I did not. Did you? No, see, you not listening. I'm gonna need you to get a Q-tip. That's not what I said.
You just said
that is not what I said. What I said was he did not see color because he wanted everyone included.
Nolan didn't see it.
Nolan
she said
did
that
not.
The parents.
Please explain it to him because he ain't listening.
Go ahead.
The parents told him that basically, well, we want you to understand that not everybody in the world is going to view it and see it the way that you do. Just because you don't see color, don't mean other people around you gonna think the same way.
Okay,
so
I thought she
basically
said
the parents wanted to show him the reality of life.
I thought she said that the parents explained to us how they raised him,
right?
To kind of like understand his history,
right?
And to know who he is, and that, and then they raised him to. I thought she said they raised him to not to see color.
No, because you checked out and was ready to respond.
That was
you were ready to respond, so you checked out.
Oh yeah. You got them right. You got.
Well, then you can't talk to you can't talk to respond. You gotta listen first.
Hey, listen. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying, well, he got himself killed then.
Wow.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying.
And watch this, right?
I'm saying.
I don't stand with that statement.
You ain't got to because you ain't say it. You ain't got
to
stand
with it. But I'm letting it be known. I don't stand with that statement.
You don't got to stand with it. I'm saying, see, here's where listen, who knows better what the fuck is going on in this country than the parents who have been here a couple of decades before and who understands history. You don't know shit yet about this world because you just got here. So it's either, it's true, he got himself killed because, listen, here they didn't do a very good job, and they don't strike me. I'm just telling you the truth. Them parents, they don't strike me as the Asada Shakur or a Finney Shakur type. That daddy sitting back, letting the mama do all the goddamn talking, he don't strike me as a strong-shouldered leader.
Hold on. Are you blaming the parents and Nolan for him being dead?
Is that the question?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay, here's my answer. If you say that the parents taught him, they raised him, they trained him, they tried to instill in him the variety of life, the ups and downs, the ins and outs of how this thing called life can work. And if he rejected that total to the point where, listen, if your parents got to tell you, if they have to say, well, the world's not going to see it the way you see it. If the parents had to tell him that, that must mean that something had to have happened in order for that type of conversation to have taken place, for them to feel the need to tell him that, to isolate that and say, hey, Nolan, we get it, and that's cool, but the rest of the world doesn't see it the way you see it. If the
let's see what happened. They live in a predominantly white area, so that conversation has to be had. Don't act like we don't sit up and have these conversations with our kids.
You asked me a question,
right? Okay.
And listen,
but no, I didn't ask you a question. I just said he grew up in a predominantly white area.
Henny, my kids live in a predominantly white environment.
And did you have a conversation with them?
You motherfucker.
Okay, and that's the thing right there. Every black parent has to have the conversation with their kid.
That's what I'm talking about. Them motherfucking parents. If you have to have a listen, if you had to have had that conversation with your son, and you had to isolate and point out and address what you see in him or what he's displaying that could cause him to run afoul of other black people, how they look at shit and how they view shit. If you had to isolate that and address it, that means that he himself have internalized something other than what you tried to instill in him. And because he didn't listen to your teaching, training, and your warning, that he put himself in a situation to where he was vulnerable. Because he could have, if you got to do all that, that means he was ignoring the signs. He was ignoring the signs because in his mind, he had convinced himself.
But how do you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that something happened? Do you know Nolan's background? Do you know that you know his background? Hold on. No, because you've been talking and you hold on.
You said what you said. Tatum said he using cocaine.
And there's no proof of that either.
So what you talking? And listen, here's what we know.
You don't know that boy's past neither. You don't know nothing about that boy. That boy comes from a multicultural family.
Fucking phone. You just said that the parents came out and they articulated how they raised him.
You gonna be the only one to talk tonight?
No, hell no.
You don't know. You don't know. No, you're not gonna know because I'm asking you a question and you're not listening.
And listen, you asked me a question and I'm answering it. You don't like my answer. That's on you.
No, you didn't even answer it. I asked you, do you know his background? And you brought up Officer Taylor.
You asked me, hey, listen, this is a simple process of elimination. Say no motherfucking Freudian shit going on here. You asked me a question, and your question was, how do I know? And the answer is in what you said. The answer to your question is in what you said. You said the parents came out and they articulated to the world how they raised him and what they instilled in him, specifically and especially about matters of race.
Right.
And you said that the parents they isolated an incident, or
I did not say they isolated an incident.
That's what it is, though. Hey, listen,
I did not say that.
Hey, listen, Henny.
I did not say that. And you're jumping to a conclusion.
Hold on. You said
you're jumping to a conclusion.
Wait a minute. You said that the parents said they told him that, hey, Nolan, the way you flowing with that, or the way you gravitating towards that, that is not the way the majority of the world views this. Views what? It had to be about race. It ain't about no goddamn donuts.
Because Nolan wanted everybody included. And telling a child that does not mean that that something had to have happened. I had that conversation with my kids when we moved to where we are now. No. You could be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. But understand, if you choosing that you're going to be friends with people, they're not going to look at things the same way that you do. So and at the end of the day, when I asked you, do you know his background? And you said no.
When you know about his background?
When I asked you if you know his background and you said no, because his background is going to explain a lot to you.
His background is going to... He ain't even lived like this.
First of all, you're not even listening. I can yell too, nigga.
And what we doing? 18, he ain't lived no life.
What we doing?
But listen, no, we get it. Hey, listen, he has not lived long enough.
Okay, if you stop talking, because you've been talking long enough.
I'm asking your question.
You've been talking long enough. But you've been talking long enough. You've been talking, but you keep talking. You don't listen.
All right, so Henny,
so what I'm trying to say to you is, what I'm trying to
dictate what my answer is to your question.
First of all, you don't get to tell me I can't finish my sentence.
You asked me a question.
Yes, but what I'm saying, you answered it. You don't know it. You don't know it.
Listen, and that's the difference between. That's the difference. Listen, you're a woman. I'm a man.
And what does a woman have to do with anything?
In matters of raising kids, women and men.
That has nothing to do with this. You answered my question and you're not letting me talk.
Hey, listen.
The boy comes from a multicultural background.
We got a one mic it though, y'all. Hold on. We got a one mic it. We got a one mic it.
Hold on, bro.
We got a one mic.
He wants to do all the talking, and he don't want to listen.
And then you don't like what the fuck my answer is.
You answered it. You said no. You don't know his background, and I'm trying to explain it to you.
But you're bringing that up as if you are an expert in his background.
First of all, I know that his mother is part Asian and black. I know that. I know that he had an Asian. First of all, he has an Asian grandmother. First of all, that plays a part in how he looks at the world.
She black in Mississippi, nigga.
It plays a part in how he looks at the world.
If you one drop of black,
you got Asian cousins and white cousins and black cousins, you're not gonna see the world.
Drop blood, man.
You know what? Have a good night, dog. Have a good night, dog. Have a good night.
Okay, good. I don't give a fuck. Here's the whole thing. On with the conversation. Let me help you out here.
I can't even hear you, dog.
Black blood makes you
black.
I'll
be right back, bro. Let me close out and come back.
Huh? One drop of black blood makes you black. Period. Simple as that. And when you're talking about how people view shit and look at shit, hey, listen, let me help you out here. What happened is that if they had to have a conversation with him about how he viewed life, despite the fact of what they tried to instill in him, what does that tell you about why they had to do that? This simple mathematics.
For one, it's the area that they live in, but I ain't saying that nothing happened because something could have happened to the parents that made them, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I didn't have that experience back in the day. This what happened to me because they from down south, I believe, originally anyway. So them knowing the world, they explain to their son, like, hey, listen, everybody ain't gonna see the world the way we view it.
Hey, listen.
Hey, watch this.
Hey, hold on, bro.
Go ahead.
No. She said that the parents communicated to the public how they raised him,
right,
and the values they instilled in him, and the game they gave him. And she said that the parents had to talk to him about his concept and his perspective in terms of wanting to be all inclusive into certain things. Why did those black parents, all that Asian shit? Man, what are you talking about? Asian this and Asian that. That ain't how that go. You black. And if you run around here talking about you mixed in Mississippi, and she didn't say they said that. She said that they had a conversation with him about his perspective on how he sees things. And they told him, according to her, that the world might not see it the way you see it, respectfully.
Right.
Why did they have that conversation with him about that? Answer that question.
I believe it's because that's why I said I believe it's because of the. I'm sorry, Underdog. I believe it's the environment that they was living in. Go ahead, though.
So at the end of the day, for real, this is what really I feel like took place. I've been feeling like this all along. I feel like they did try to give him the game on how you carry yourself and at the end of the day, no matter how you choose to carry it, don't forget that you black. And the fact that you black, you have to automatically have a certain kind of conduct, regardless, right? I believe they did give him that speech. I do believe that, right? And I believe that he was standing on that. But I also believe them hunkies seduced that brother, man, to where he started in his mind disbelieving in its totality that spill that his family them gave him. And I believe that he got to that age, he's about 17, 18. He's about 18, right? Now watch that, he was 18. And this is some of the dumbest shit that parents do, bro. They be feeling like, since this child is 18, that's an adult. And then at this point, all I can do is tell him, if he don't do it, he don't do it. And that's what the fuck happened. Y'all let that motherfucker grow into that which he was being seduced by. I mean, he hang out with them hunkies all day, bro. And that goes back to what I originally said when I was like, he started getting dull on what the fuck his parents was teaching him when all them pickups, all on the same team, cookouts, it's okay to like a white chick, all this little shit, all that shit desensitized that nigga to where he started growing into that a rainbow coalition ass shit. You know what I mean? And his parents don't know. Obviously, they don't know that I don't give a fuck if you is 18. What the fuck I said when you was 12, bitch, still stand. If you're gonna be in this motherfucking house, you gonna stand on that, or you gonna have a problem in this house. See, now right now, they wishing they would have put all the tough love that they needed to have put on him in that crucial moment. Because we know, Dawgface, that hey, we can't never drop the ball on that. I don't give a fuck if you 23 and you don't even stay with me no more. I'm still checking your environment to making sure that you ain't getting seduced by this shit. Man, like they already like the father, I don't even know really for real. I have not been able to identify what kind of brother he is. Like
Why not?
I don't
Why not?
Because I don't see that nigga, bro.
No, hold on, stop right there. Listen. So let me go back to what I said, and I'm gonna let you have the flow rule report. So Henny asked me. Well, Henny said, hey, listen, the family, the mom and dad articulated what they instilled in their son. And we have to assume that a part of what they tried to teach him was about matters of race. We have to assume they did that because they're from Mississippi. There's no way you can be from down south, especially, and you live in an all-white environment and you not talk to your kids about race. There's no way. There is absolutely no way that you raising a kid in the South and you're not bringing up the subject about race and about sticking with your own kind, about supporting your own kind, and about shit like that. You can have white friends, but be aware of these signs. Be aware of these things because these things are going to rear their head. There is no way. I'm a living example of that. I live in the fucking South. My son started going to school in the South. He's 9. He started going to school in the South. I told him if a white boy put their hands on you, beat his ass.
That's right.
I was wrong for that. Rule report.
No. So what I'm saying is I'm basing it off of the environment that he was living in. I mean, at the end of the day, so this has been a thing. Black people, begin to do well financially. They want to do well, they aspire to do well. And then what they do is they move out of what we consider to be the hood. They move in these areas where they're predominantly white. To me, it looks like Nolan Wells was one of maybe a handful of black people in that community. So ultimately, if he goes out to play football, tag, basketball, he's out there with all white people. So I think that we can take a step back and look at, are we really putting our kids in a better situation by moving them out of the black communities? Because there's good black communities out here too, especially down south. This place you can move where it's good, affluent black people at. Are we doing our kids a disservice by moving them to these communities that's predominantly white because we feel like it's a safer environment for our kids?
So watch this, man. Right. We are all from 3 different places, right? Born and raised, right? Even when you raise your kid in a predominantly black environment, you still have conversations with your kids about
goddamn right
relations between black and white. Say I'm lying.
Hey, also between
that's a question.
Yeah, you right.
So you telling me that people who raise their you don't gotta be in a predominantly white environment in order to talk to your kids about issues and matters of race. I was raised in a predominantly black environment. 2 cities that are majority black. Pontiac, majority black. Detroit, majority black, right? And when I was coming up, my mama, there wasn't no white people in my neighborhood. 0. Maybe 1 or 2 white people. We lived in a predominantly black environment, in a predominantly black neighborhood. My mama still talked to me about matters of race because she knew that the greater world that I was going to have to navigate my way through was controlled and ran by white people. Black people in the ghetto, right now there's a discussion about teach your kids about how to deal with the white police. They go, what is that all about? Because that's a matter of race. Now we have bad black police officers too, but in the ghetto, black parents talk to their black kids about what to do if they encounter a racist white person, how to avoid getting shot.
But she said that the parents talked to him about that, though.
Hey, listen,
Hey, watch.
hold on, bro. The parents talked to him about, they talked to him, they raised him, they groomed him about matters of race. She didn't say matters of race. She said the parents came out. Why did the parents have to come out and say anything about how they raised their son? Why?
I'm trying to. Why did that matter though?
Why it matters?
Like I have that conversation with my son too, and we don't live in an all-white city. And I still have a conversation with him about because he got white. He got white friends too, and I'd be like, "Hey, listen, it's cool, but understand that you still a black man, though."
Why you gotta say that? Why?
Because that's the way that the world is.
Okay, stop right
there. That we live in.
Hold on,
you know what I mean?
You from up north, like I'm from up north.
Yeah.
So we don't see concentrated racism like you would see below the Mason-Dixon line. Right?
It's racist as fucking Ohio, bro.
Oh, hey, bro, the Ku Klux Klan started in
Underdawg that lived in Ohio. You know what I mean? He know, like the Ku Klux Klan that marched in Columbus. That's the state capital.
But
it's racist.
No, hey, listen. It's
out here.
You live in a predominantly black environment. You was raised in one, and so is your kids, right? But even though we all from predominantly black environments. But our parents still talk to us about matters of race, because outside of our neighborhoods, outside of our blocks that we grew up in, our parents knew, because they lived life longer than us. Our parents knew that we were going to have to run into these things, and they wanted to try to prepare us as best as they possibly could for what was going to happen when we did run into a situation where race could play a factor, because they believe that by teaching you that, they could possibly save your motherfucking life.
But
that's why black parents have conversations with their black kids about white people.
Are you thinking the parents made a mistake though? Are you saying that they did something wrong in talking to him?
No. So just so we're on the same page, Henny said that the parents came out,
right,
and they talked about how they raised their son.
And
then she also said that the parents had a conversation with Nolan about what he chose to gravitate towards, and how he chose to live his life, and what he chose to believe. He chose to believe what he believed based on his lived experiences growing up around white people, and they're not so bad. But his parents, when they pointed out, they talked to him about matters of race. They talked to him about matters of race because they knew they have an infinite amount of wisdom, more than he did, because they've lived this shit. And on top of that, they from fucking Mississippi. So I want to make sure that I clarify something. I said the father, I ain't the only one thinking about why this father ain't stepping up. This father, I'm telling you the harsh reality. Why that father ain't leading the motherfucking press conference? Why the mama gotta do it? You so emotional, nigga. You so emotional that the woman got to do the talking for you. That's the opposite. What the fuck going on? You so emotional. You sitting there. You ain't. What is you angry, nigga? If you angry, come out and say you angry, motherfucker. What's all this hiding emotions and shit? Who is benefiting from that? Y'all handling what appears to be the fucking murder of y'all son like y'all ain't mad and upset about it. Oh, don't show no emotion. What the fuck is you talking about? Not you.
I get what you're saying. I'll get you saying, dog. But at the same time, everybody ain't gonna handle it like we would.
I didn't say they should.
Because he not only is he, because you got think about what the dad is dealing with, bro. Not only is he dealing with the loss of his son, right?
Stop making excuses for these niggas.
I'm not making an excuse. This is real. This is real life.
And listen, why we have barely heard this nigga say one word. So you're telling me he's so choked up with emotion that he's not able to be the leader that he's supposed to be, because we would think the mama would be choked up with emotion because she's a woman, and women draw up on emotions more than men. Men draw up on logic and reason.
Like that. It don't always happen like that. It don't always happen like that.
How? No, it don't.
Especially in the black community, it don't always happen like that.
Oh, well, what I'm saying is this. I got 2 or 3 points. One, I said that Nolan Wells. So his parents told him about the facts of life. His parents talked to him about the birds and bees, and they talked with him about the matters of race. And they explained, and they said that he basically rejected that teaching, and he developed his own interpretation, his own understanding, because of his, and that understanding came from him playing basketball, playing football, going to school, having white girlfriends, and you have no choice because you live in a minority white community. So when you grow up in the majority white community, you lose sight and you drop your guard down because in your mind we're all just pals, we're all just bros. But that's not what's being taught in them motherfucking households of them white boys. And that's why the
18 years of being around these people too. He was born and raised here. He didn't move there. The parents moved there. He was born there.
I get that.
So he's been around these people for 18 years. He probably did think these was his friends.
Okay, listen. So my question to you is, why did the parents have to have a conversation with him about he don't believe there's no difference between black and white?
Because they've seen something outside of Ocean Springs. They understand the reality of the dynamics in race. So of course they're gonna have a conversation with him. That's for me, that's not an awkward thing for them to have that conversation with him. Like, hey, listen, I think we need to tell Nolan, like, explain to him how things really is in the world. We understand, and then you know what? Who knows the actual incident or what took place that made them want to have that conversation with him. It could have been about him dating white women. It could have been, who knows?
But here's my point, though, respectfully. My point is this. Walk with me. Black parents who raise their children in all black communities where there is no significant presence of, or no racial diversity. There's no significant white presence. Black parents still talk to their black kids about race, not because they live in a melting pot in their immediate environment, but because they know that one day those children, black boys and black girls, are going to get big and they're going to walk into a greater world. And in that greater world, they're going to be exposed to
white people.
So then why wouldn't his parents have a conversation with him then? I'm understanding what you're saying in one breath, but it's like you keep asking why did the parents have the conversation? You just said why the parents had the conversation.
But listen, bro, I don't know what the fuck going on here tonight, but let me tell you this. As a black parent, when you raise your kids, and I'm gonna say it again, when you raise your kids in an all black environment, one of the conversations you have with them about, even you talk about the dangers of being in an all black environment, you talk about girls, you talk about don't let that bitch, especially if you got some, but it happens at a lesser degree because they're not faced with white shit all day. But you still have a conversation with your kids about matters of race. If you don't, it does. I'm from a majority black city. My mama talked to me about white people, not because white people was next door, not because there was a threat of being hung, because we outnumbered the white people. It ain't gonna happen there, right? They talked to me because they understood that's a part of the rearing process. As your child gets grown and starts to move away from you and out into the world, they're going to encounter white people, and some white people might not like you. They're going to judge you by the color of your skin versus the content of your character or anything that you display. No matter what you do, they're going to look at you a certain way and judge you downward, not upward, downward.
Did y'all niggas pause?
Nah.
Hey, so listen though, right?
Bro, I think like I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying from what Henny described, I can't say because I haven't been covering it, but from what Henny described, everything you just said is what it sounds to me like is what the mother said that they was doing with him. They had a conversation with him. Like, was there something wrong with that?
No,
Because I'm trying to get.
No. You must be misinterpreting what I'm saying.
Yeah, I am. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't say it was something wrong with that.
Okay.
She said they raised him in a particular way, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, if they raised him in a particular way, and based on how he was acting and how he was moving, they had to have another conversation with him about how he was moving and how he was digesting and living. If they had to have had that conversation with him, why? They had that conversation with him. Hey, listen.
So what you saying is something possibly was going on prior to leading up to what happened to him on the 4th of July.
He was displaying, if they had to have that conversation with him, just because we
else was
taught you
going
one
on.
way. We taught you one way. We instructed you one way. And we're seeing you doing something different.
Something else. Okay. All right.
And so
here we go.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay.
Did I not say that?
No,
we have to have.
We can't get stuck at the one spot.
Listen, if you are my father and you raised me, you say, "Hey, son, we live in a predominantly white environment. There is racism. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. Here are some things you need to look out for and be aware of. If you encounter them, come see me, come talk to me, and we can deal with it. I'm your parent. I will help safeguard and shepherd you along your growth because you're still a kid. 18 ain't grown. Okay. 18 is a kid." So
let me ask you this question.
Henny said they had to have another conversation with him about him saying, "I don't see no color. I don't see no difference." And I know where he got that from. Huh?
I didn't hear her say they had another conversation. That's what I'm saying. I didn't. That's what I'm saying. I didn't hear that part. You know what I mean? So when you were saying like they talked to him and they had, that's why I was lost in what you were saying. Now that you say that, then okay, I understand what you're saying. It's something had to happen for them to have another. All right. So, but if you're saying that though, then why didn't they just come out and say? Huh? Yeah.
That's
like the parents. If that's the case, then
the reason why I'm drawing the comparison is because she said that the parents came out and told the world that they raised him in a way, and they taught and they trained him. They gave him some training to understand what the possibility of this shit could be. And she said that the parents had a conversation with him and told him that, hey, the way you're in, she said that he told the parents, "I don't see black and white. I just see human beings." And she said the parents told him, "Hey, son, that's cool. But the majority of the world or people in the world who you're going to come in contact with don't see it the way you see it." They had to have that conversation with him because he was displaying some characteristic. He was displaying some behavior that alarmed them. Why else do you have a conversation with him and say, "Hey, son, I get you on that tip, and despite the way we raised you, you're going down this road, but just know that the majority of the world don't see it that way." They wasn't warning him about black people seeing it no way. They was warning him about him thinking that white people would embrace him the way he's embracing them.
Okay, yeah. No, I get that part. I get that part. But at the end of the day, man, I think everything that we're talking about as far as like, the way that the case is being handled, the way that they're doing stuff, the obvious, racism that's going on in the investigation.
What's wrong with the way the case is being handled? Well, I'm asking you, man to man, the way the case is being handled doesn't smell racist to you?
It's obvious.
It's just like they just bumbling idiots and they don't know how to solve no murder.
No, it's obvious. It's obvious what they're doing.
Wait, whoa. So you telling me from somebody who's not from Mississippi, who hasn't been able to enjoy the Mississippi experience growing up. You telling me that we from the Midwest? You telling me we know this, but they don't? And she just said they raised him in a way to understand. Hey, son.
Hold on, who you saying don't? Who you saying don't see it that way?
No, I'm saying you're saying we from the Midwest, bro. You
Right.
don't think the Mississippi parent? And she's talking about the mother's Asian. What the fuck that got to do with something?
Who you talking about? What Henny said?
She brought into the fact where the parents are Asian and the parents is that. Hey, listen, you're black, bro.
Well,
all that Asian shit gonna get your ass strung up on the tree.
We'll have to reconvene with Henny though when she, you know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
hey, listen,
we don't want to beat her down while she ain't here,
I'm
bro.
not beating anybody down. This show gonna go on. This show don't no motherfucker control this show. Not even me.
No, I'm saying because she ain't here to say what she. Because I think she was going into her history.
Hey,
the mom.
I'm not going into anybody's
history.
Hey, listen, she was going into the mother's history as if to say that because the mother was Asian. Okay, so if the mother's Asian, what we talking about then? If being Asian means that race is less of a factor because she was Asian, that mama black, bro. When I look at that mama,
I don't know why she brought that. Because it was like she brought that up and there was so much yelling going on. I couldn't hear.
Hey, listen,
what her point was. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen. Her point is that the parents taught him about race, and then he adopted on his own a concept where he didn't see color. And so they had a conversation with him and told him, hey, son, there are people in this world who don't see it the way you see it. Them parents were not talking about black people seeing it that way. Because whether black people see it that way or not, who gives a fuck? Them parents were trying to warn him
right,
that you're going to come in a situation where white people don't see no color.
But to me, that warning was weak, though. That was a weak warning. Because to me, I feel like if he was raised there and he turned 18, you know, it supposed to have been like, you know, like seasons. And when they check his temperature on, if he's still holding on to that teaching that they told him in the beginning. And I felt that when he turned 18, probably even a little bit before that, because I believe they had that discussion before he was actually 18. That shit that you talking about, that didn't happen just 2 months ago before he got killed. You know what I mean? That shit probably happened a few years ago where they had to come back and reiterate what the fuck I said about this situation. You starting to fall into the other side.
So let me ask you a question.
Come on.
Did you hear Henny say, because she offered an explanation. She said the parents came out and said and explained how they raised Nolan. Why did the parents come out and say that? The parents came out and said that because they were being criticized.
And they was trying to
about not teaching and training him about the possibility of this shit. And so therefore, that's why he found himself in the situation that he's in right now.
So a raw version of me trying to get you to understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to get you to understand this. And this is just raw.
Who, me?
Metaphor. No, not you. Just period. My point, what I'm trying to say is that basically you need to carry a gun when you deal with these white people, man. Okay. But Nolan started leaving the house without that gun. And they like, well, hey, I seen that gun on the dresser. Why you ain't got it with you?
Metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically speaking.
Up here.
That's right. Why are you leaving that house without this gun that we taught you, right? So that's what made them have to have another conversation. Listen, the reason why we said when you with them hungry, you gotta have this gun because they'll fucking kill you, right? And I'm still metaphorically speaking, but I'm just trying to come from a different angle, right? And I believe it got to the point to where they said, okay, if you leave without this gun, this is what might happen. When they should have been like, if you ain't leaving with that gun, then you ain't leaving this motherfucking house. That's the part where I felt like they dropped the ball at. They started putting too much in his hands. They should have been like, listen.
Watch this. This gentleman said, Still Daryl says, you don't go nowhere where you feel you need a gun.
I'm metaphorically speaking. I dropped his dumb ass.
No, come on, bro.
Okay, come on. Okay.
Up top is this. In matters of race in this country, especially in the South, there's always a racial component because we know that the rawness of racism and the bluntness of racism can rear its head. And so when you grew up in the South, Southern parents teach their kids about race. They do. I'm one of them. Southern parents, I don't give a fuck where you live. It could be in the hood or you could be in influence. Parents who don't even, okay, listen. So your mama and daddy, whoever raised you, ain't never had a conversation with you about white people and you grew up in a predominantly black environment. Never?
Talking to me?
Yeah. Both of y'all.
Hell yeah, I had that conversation. I had a white girl that was on my dick. My mom was like, "You better not bring her around here." Then that's where that conversation took place. And when I was in elementary, then that's when I got the spiel from what they've been through and what they went through with white people. But like, as far as that brother saying about the gun, I'm not talking about a gun, literally, brother. I'm talking about his mind is his gun. Okay. And what his mama instilled in his mind was his gun, and it was the bullets. This is how you defend. That's what you do with a gun. You defend. So this is how you defend yourself when you're in these kind of environments. And I felt that mentally he stopped using that tool, aka that gun that I mentioned, brother. Not literally. Hell no, we don't want to go around no gun if we don't got to. And no, we ain't raising our kids to walk around with no gun. That's just basically feed them to the penitentiary. So metaphorically means that I'm using this as an example to make this point, just like Jesus did when he started speaking about all the various grounds that the seeds was dropped on. You got to stay with me, bro.
So let me ask you a question. I'm talking the Ruler Report here. You never had a conversation with your son about race? Ever?
I mean, talking about race in my household is something that go on all the time. Even like with me, though, as far as with, well, hold on, let me hold on. Even as far as with me as a child, I don't never remember a specific time my mom or dad or my grandmother, because I spent a lot of time around my grandma too, ever just set me down just to talk to me about race. It was something that was brought up during conversations and me listening to my parents, even just having conversation with themselves about the opposite race. So I grew up knowing that things was fucked up between blacks and whites. Hell, it was all over the TV. Like, I didn't have to have a conversation. I think at this particular point, you know what I mean? He was 18 years old. At some point, I would expect any of us to have a conversation like, hey, or don't be going, or how them white people or this and that. Like, shit that black people say to their kids though. And I think most black people, I can't think of nobody black that I know that wouldn't have a conversation with their kids. You know what I mean? At some point, one point or another.
My question
it's just the way of the world. It's just the way of the world.
My question to you, dear brother, is this. Why do black people have to have a conversation in 2020? So I have two questions. One, are those type of conversations necessary right now? Or is race not a factor in this country?
Who, me?
You talking to you? Yeah, Ruler. Yeah, on you, bro.
Are those type of conversations? Do black parents?
We live in America. That's always going to be a conversation.
What? Okay, so you can't have it both ways, bro. If a conversation about race,
both ways.
If a conversation about race is still necessary, even if you don't, so it's called learning through osmosis. When you learn through osmosis, that means that the environment that you live in, you absorbing shit without having to be directly taught, trained, or talked to about a particular thing. So imagine a life where you're black in this country and you don't talk to your children. They never hear anything about race. You never talk to them about race and the racial dynamics in this country. Imagine raising a kid in an environment where you don't teach them shit about race and then push them out to the world. What you think gonna happen to them? Especially if they ain't talking about sell crack, go to prison, bro. I'm talking about just going about there every day. They're not going to learn because the world is controlled by white people. Economics is controlled by white people. The job market is controlled by white people. The workforce, the workplace, right? The colleges are controlled by white people. So if you don't give your kids some education about the dynamics, I ain't saying fuck white people. No, none of that. I'm just saying you have to have a conversation about, hey, listen, this is how you recognize this is racism. Just how you recognize it. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that may indicate that person you're dealing with, you might want to stay away from them. So what I'm saying is this: if Nolan, hey, listen, bro, she said that Nolan's parents came out and said they talked about how they raised him and the values they instilled in him, and she said that they said they had to have a conversation with Nolan about his viewpoints. Because his viewpoints was, I don't see color. He don't see color despite the fact they told him that color is a factor. It could be a factor and maybe will be a factor. So if they had to have a conversation with him, why? The conclusion is only because they saw how he was moving, not seeing black and white, and they said, wait, that might be dangerous, brother. Son, I get it. You grew up around white people and you looking at we all the same. That Michael Jackson shit ain't no. How many stars who have adopted that ain't no difference between black and white. And then when the white man got in their ass, they started hollering about racism.
Hey, you know, this reminds me of this book I read called and this for you, Ruler. I read this book called Behold the Pale Horse, right?
He read it.
I got it.
Yeah, that's hey, remember the part where my man say that they ain't shooting us with guns no more, even though they are. But he was speaking as far as he said they ain't shooting us with guns no more. He said they shooting us. He said the gun is situation and the bullet is circumstances. So they're shooting us with situations and circumstances, right? This Nolan Wells is one of those situations and circumstances, right? So this is older than all of us, right? This thing ain't gonna go away in our lifetime and probably even our kids' lifetime. But that's what, you know what I'm saying? We have to teach our kids about the situations and the circumstances that these people will shoot at us. And that's what took place with Nolan Wells. That's why when he started talking that I don't see no color. Yeah, because you were dealing with a situation and a circumstance that was shot by you. You see what I'm saying? He was shot at that point. When his mom or his parents had to come back and have a situation like, no, listen, this is what's likely to happen. This is what you think would never happen. You know what I mean? Nolan started, he didn't believe that, white people would do something or they was capable of this kind of evil. But the parents knew, not enough, but they knew enough to know. You know what I mean? They didn't push the program enough. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, man. They failed or maybe he even failed. I think they all kind of like dropped the ball, right? Because
so listen, I respectfully, let me say this, right? He didn't live long enough to have dropped the ball, right? He hadn't been nowhere.
So you put it all on the parents? He
basically I don't know if he's born there, but he was raised there.
Yep.
Right? He was groomed there.
That's right.
Listen, watch this, bro. If his parents raised him and groomed him to understand certain things, right? And he was displaying characteristics that went against their grooming in the house. That means that the impact and the influence of the outer world was more influential on him than what he learned in his parents' house, because when they saw him, well on, nigga, wait, hold up. We have to have a conversation with you because the way you look, no black and white, everybody's saying, that might not be healthy for you.
That's right.
And we know that kids are impacted by the things that happen in the outside world, and they don't give a fuck what we talked about. The outside world, they gonna listen to them. How many of our kids are in the graveyard or in jail some fucking where, or fucked up in some fucked up situation where they have put themselves in dug a hole for themselves or they listen to this out in the street. So listen, just like that influence is true in the ghetto, amongst ghetto shit, that influence is true in the environment that Nolan Wells grew up in. His parents taught him one thing inside the house, But when he walked out into the world, he didn't see what mom and dad was talking about. Because of him, hey, mom and dad, no, there's no difference between us. Whose advantage is it for black people to see no color?
White people's advantage. What you thinking, Ruler?
Because I'm trying to figure out though, like, so at this point though, like, what are we saying like right now? Like, are we saying that it's the parents' fault because they didn't teach you right?
Listen.
Are we saying it was his fault? Like, or because I don't want to take the blame away from the people that did this shit to him. I wouldn't.
Oh hell no! They just doing what they do.
Let me land. I wouldn't care if he seen the world however he's seen it. The fact of the matter is he did and somebody did it and they need to pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, just because I'm gonna be real, like, just because somebody is naive to the way that things is, these are the type of things that can happen to you for being naive, but that don't justify somebody killing you.
Oh, I know.
No. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to, like, you know.
So you're right. He's asking me that question. Let me answer it, bro. And
okay.
I'm going to
no, go ahead.
So I made a blanket statement when I said, well, if his parents didn't teach him about matters of race in this country, living in Mississippi in a predominantly white environment, his parents were negligent if they did not teach him. Henny said, well, the parents came out and they talked about raising him and grooming him and telling him about the possibilities. And she said that he didn't see color. He didn't see a difference. And so the parents had a conversation with him and told him the world may not see it the way you see it. When the parents were telling him the world may not see the way you see it, they parents wasn't talking about how black people interpret it. Them parents was talking about that white people might not accept the way you look at it, and you might want to be careful. And the question is, am I saying it's the parents' fault? No. But just like all other things, if you did not raise your kid in this country and talk to them about race, even if you live in a predominantly black environment, you're doing your kids a disservice.
Okay.
That's one. Number two, we're going to raise the stake. You move your kids to an all-white environment, and I'm listening to you. You said, well, bro, there are some black environments. There are some environments that are well off. Maryland. We know that in Prince George County, Maryland is one of the richest counties of the black people in America, right? So we should be able to move where we want to move. We should be able to live and sup, and sup means have supper, as you know, from the biblical term. We should be able to go where we want to go, but that's not the case in America, and it would never be the case. And we have to be forever watchful. We have to be forever watchful of the things that we do, and we have to teach our children and train our children that the possibility is possible. Even if it never happens, you still have to teach them, because to not teach them and something happens to them, you're going to blame yourself for not giving them proper instruction. You're going to always wonder, what could you have done? What could you have said? What should you have said? What should you have done? And so if the question is, if Nolan Wells was taught to be aware of certain things and he rejected that teaching, then he put himself in a perilous situation to where he couldn't understand. Now I understand why Javon went on TMZ and they said, the police ain't talked to you? And he looked incredulous, like, no. Why would the police want to talk to me? Well, because you're his best friend. There's so many fucking best friends in this equation. We don't know who the best friend is at this point, right? All the white boys was his best friend. All these half niggas was his best friend. Everybody best friend down there. So my thing is, if you Nolan Wales, Henny said his parents talked to him about matters of race and matters of. He rejected them and he adopted the mentality, well, I don't see color. Well, that's why you couldn't see what was on the horizon for your short life. I'm standing on that. That's why you couldn't see it. And you know what? Oh, that ain't how it go, Dawgface. When your kids get in trouble, after you told them don't do that, when Big Mama told you, and Big Daddy and Papa told you, that nigga, stay away from Leroy. Leroy is trouble. Stay away from Sally Sue. Sally Sue, when you find yourself locked up fucking with Leroy, Robert Earl, James, Mike, blah, 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 and you get locked up, you can't blame that on the lack of parental guidance or proper guardianship. You can only blame it on yourself. Bro, we all wish that we have a chance to recover from mistakes that we make. Like getting locked up, for example. We all wish we don't go life for no life bit. You ain't got a chance to recover from that shit because you do through. But in the same sense as that, if you don't listen to your parents' instruction and you find yourself in a situation to where you have to suffer a consequence, then you in trouble. And you can't blame nobody. Well, that ain't the way the world supposed to be. That's the way it is, though. If that's not the way it is, why the fuck we talking about race? Why we talking about Mississippi? When we say Mississippi is a bad word to black people. Mississippi, when you say Mississippi, we don't think nothing good. We automatically think racism. And my overall point is that white people act like that we can't equate race or we can't include history in our assessment of what the fuck is going on right now. If you rob us from history, if all black people in this country don't know nothing about slavery, nothing about Jim Crow, nothing about Emmett Till, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Black Panther Party, none of that shit, then what do you have? You have a motherfucker who blind, deaf, and dumb to the reality of themselves. And you're going to be food for people who seek to destroy you or manipulate you or use you. This ain't no motherfucking happy space over here. This is where we have real conversations. And when it comes to Henny, I didn't cuss at Henny, but you asked me a question, right? What do we know? Like you trying to state matter of fact shit like, well, you don't know. How do you know? All we doing is drawing up on what they saying. And I'm saying that father a weak ass nigga. Because the father is supposed to be the leader. And a lot of black women don't understand that. No, he supposed to be standing up and doing the press conferences. He acting more emotional than her. That's the problem. And now I know why Nolan wasn't able to grasp that. Because you got a mama running shit while this nigga sitting up looking like John Henry and ain't opening up his motherfucking mouth.
And you know what, man? like the whole purpose of the parents having these conversations with their kids is to prevent one of two major things. That's from a situation, putting my son or daughter in prison for the rest of their life, or just even going to prison, getting a felony. And also, this is the ultimate one, is to prevent them from getting killed by them. That's the main reason. That's why we had that conversation, because these are the two main things that the parent feared. So this is why we try to put that preventative measure on them.
Well, listen, based on what I'm hearing, we ain't supposed to teach our kids that race matters and race is a factor.
Hey,
well,
no matter where you at, and especially in
Hey, listen, I'm saying if those parents, and Henny corrected me. Henny said the parents doing a press conference or doing some type of, the parents came out and they said, why did the parents have to talk about what they taught their son? Because they were being criticized for raising their black son in an environment And he thinking, oh, these white people.
For him to be so smart, why wasn't he sharper?
And so they have to speak to that. Why is the mom and daddy talking about what they taught their son in terms of how to deal with and interpret matters of race? Because black people, I was like, what you niggas teaching them niggas? I'm looking at the daddy, the mama. I'm looking at the daddy ain't saying nothing. And that is the dynamic of the black family in America. When you do have a mom and daddy, oftentimes the mother and what she says, somebody says she mixed though. Watch this. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about being mixed in America. No, brother say she mixed though. Hey, listen, can you believe? Listen to what this shit. She's mixed though. Hey, listen. White people who have a problem with black people, white people who don't place any real meaningful value on black life, white people who adopt and subscribe to racial animus and vitriol and trains of thought, white people don't give a fuck if you a light-skinned nigga or a dark-skinned nigga. But white people don't give a fuck if you Episcopalian, Baptist, Muslim, Seventh-day Adventist. White people who don't like black people don't give a fuck how light you are. Why do you think they had laws about trying to find mixed people to ward them out? Why do you think black people who are light enough to pass for white, generally speaking, in the South, especially back then, they chose to pass for white because life would be easier for them if they could pass for white. You ain't never seen Imitation of Life, the movie? Never seen Imitation of Life? Imitation of Life was a black maid who worked in a white household. And she had a daughter by a white guy. And the daughter was so light-skinned that she could pass for white. And so as the daughter, that black daughter grew up playing with the white kids that her mother was a maid for. She grew up as a servant with the mama. As she got older, she was light enough to pass for white, so she did. Later on in that movie, the white kids that she grew up with, they knew she was black and they outed her. And they told her white husband that her mama was a nigga. And she was denying it because she had adopted and accepted all things white because she knew she grew up imitating, wanting to be like white people because she saw that white life and white privilege was better. We got motherfuckers. If I'm a black man, I'm teaching my kids about race, even in the ghetto. I got kids, older set, younger set. Your older set raised in Detroit. We stay in no motherfucking ghetto, stay in no fucked up shit. We still live in a predominantly black city. I still talk to them. His mom is mixed with Asian, fam. So niggas in America are mixed with white. Why you think these two niggas light skinned right here? Why you think these two niggas is 2-3 shades lighter than me? That ain't no coincidence. It's because somewhere in their lineage, and even in mine, because I'm not black as the original Africans are, right? The black around that screen. We've all been mixed, but the result of our mixing is because we were raped into being light skinned. We ain't just said, black women wasn't just deciding to, because don't forget, it was illegal for a white person to sleep with a black person. It was illegal for that shit. It was illegal for us to read. The slave master, it was illegal for the slave masters to be sleeping with the slaves. But they still did it. And then gave the babies, sent the babies out the house. So I'm telling you, if the question is no, because Dawgface, you said it's the parents' fault. I said it's somebody's fault. But the ultimate responsibility for the murderous behavior lies at the hands of the people who took his life. But
Absolutely.
at the same time, if we're judging this whole thing, this totality, looking at all the factors, I'm an all-factor looking at nigga. If those parents living in Mississippi didn't teach their son about race and matters of race and what they could mean to him, they were negligent. They were negligent, and that negligence could have led, if they didn't, to that boy having a sense of comfortability that he shouldn't have had. That's one. Number two, if they did give him all the game that he needed and he chose to go against it because the environment meant more to him outside the household than did inside the household, then he put himself in a situation. That doesn't negate the responsibility of the people who did it. And I'm saying I believe he was murdered. And I believe that the ultimate price of, I'm a death penalty motherfucker. I believe in the death penalty. But I know the death penalty has been misapplied and that I know what it means. But I'm an eye for eye motherfucker. I would rather whoever's responsible for taking that boy's life to meet the same end that he met. I would prefer that because that's mean of you. No, it's not.
I mean, because we're gonna keep going and going with this one.
We can move on.
Yeah, we missing out right now. We're missing out. It's a whole.
Well, what did we miss out on? The tapes. So we're arguing about
not the tapes, not the tapes. It's some other content that I want to get to.
Yeah, let's go.
But shit.
You want to do it now? When you want to do it?
We probably have to do a whole nother situation for it.
We do it when you want to do it.
Shit. What time? It's like 11 o'clock. It probably have to be tomorrow. It's what I sent you.
Oh, yeah, because that's major. What? Hey, listen, that's about race too, ain't it?
Hey, send that to me,
that ain't about race. You got to read that. That's a totally different. That's a new indictment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a new indictment. That's new charges. New shit that was talked about online that ended up, yeah.
Oh, you want to go over it now or you want to wait? Because we can switch speeds. We're going to chop it up anyway. Because the live will come down and chop it up anyway.
We can wait because I need to be able to, because when I was sharing my screen earlier, it started lagging for some reason when I do it with StreamYard.
Yeah, I seen that.
What happened is that I was sharing too. So that's what complicated it because I was screen sharing too. So I opened up another window for you, and they were competing against each other, which caused the lag.
Oh yeah. It was spinning. It was spinning.
Yes.
But yeah, we did. I mean, it was a eventful show. I hope my girl are cool.
Hey, listen, brother. The YouTube streets is a place for conversation, and I'm not apologizing for how I feel about nothing. I didn't cuss at her or disrespect her in any way. She chose to leave. The whole thing is, I don't got to see shit the way you see it. And I'm saying what I said. I'm saying if they didn't teach that boy growing up in Mississippi, but say it again. If you raise a child in Mississippi or anywhere in this country, and the climate that we're living in with the crazy ass president that we have, and all of the flames of racial discord and discontent that's going on in this country right now, from the Carmelo Anthony situation to the Rick Charles situation, you would be a fool.
I think they get it though.
Yeah, they need to get it. Listen,
they get it. They get it.
They don't get it enough because these are the kind of listen. These
I'm
are the
talking about the chat.
Huh?
I think I'm talking about the chat. The people that's watching, they get where you was coming from.
Yeah, but see, the whole thing is these conversations are conversations that need to be had because these conversations, they listen. The outer world outside the black community is fucked up, but it's not more fucked up than us, right? So white people are, for the most part, you can live and be free and do what you want to do in this country, but there's still a certain segment and a certain populace that you still have to be aware of and be careful of. No matter how much money you get, no matter how much success you attain as a black person, there's still accountability that has nothing to do with your contribution. It has everything to do with people not liking you because of the color of your skin. And that kind of conversation needs to come out. Simple as that. If Nolan was raised to understand that, hey, this might be an issue, and he went out that house, that's the same thing as your kids not listening to you and listening to the outside world. Same thing. We done for the night?
Yeah, I think we didn't cook for the night, man. I think we cooked. I think it was I mean, you know, it was a good conversation for sure.
You know what though?
Flacco, produce that paperwork. You know what I mean? Pull that paperwork. Somebody, Wack, whoever got it, pull it out. Let us see the paperwork, man. You know, but you know, I definitely always enjoy the live streams and shit. Salute the Dawgface, Underdawg,
my man,
and that girl Henny and the Ruler Gang for sure.
Salute.